It's a Tuesday, just a plain, forgettable Tuesday. And yet it's about to become the kind of day historians still argue whether to call a personal ambush or a public assassination of character. In the middle of a gleaming glass and steel bank, the kind that smells faintly of espresso and ambition, she's moving like a conductor at the height of her symphony. This is her throne room, every counter and keystroke under her careful eye. My wife, poised, gracious, unshakably in control, wasn't just running the place, she owned it. Not inherited, not gifted. She built it brick by digital brick, in a system that was never designed for her to win. She's talking to a young black entrepreneur in an oversized suit, his tie slightly crooked, his hope barely contained. I watch her lean in, say something low that makes his shoulders drop, the tension dissolve. She's the custodian of his dream before he's even pitched it. And then, the temperature changes. The bank doors hiss open, and in strides a storm cloud wearing a Pepto-Pink pantsuit, hair shellacked into a helmet that could probably stop a small meteor. She marches past the line, knuckles the counter like she's summoning a servant, and demands immediate service. Jasmine, the young teller my wife mentors, smiles professionally, asks her to wait. Pink refuses, points at the elderly couple in front of her, and essentially says they're beneath her time. The air crackles. I've seen lightning like this before. It's the flash before the real damage. My wife glides over, voice smooth as polished stone, introducing herself as the bank's owner. You can almost hear the record scratch in Pink's head. Owner? You. She laughs, a short, sharp thing, before tossing out the first dart. She's just a diversity hire. Then comes the second, accusations of fraud. By the time she's pointing a trembling finger and calling my wife a terrorist, spittle catching the light under those chandeliers, you can feel the oxygen leaving the room. She whips out her phone and calls the FBI, her voice pitched with faux heroism, reporting my wife as a national security threat. Seconds later, silence, dense and buzzing, wraps around us. The tellers are frozen. Security stiffens. My wife doesn't flinch, but her eyes sharpen, the way steel rings when struck. She tells Pink she'll need to repeat those lies to the authorities when they arrive and warns she'll be pressing charges. The first uniforms through the door aren't feds, but local police. Two white officers whose eyes flick between sobbing Pink and my composed, immaculately dressed wife. The calculus behind their eyes is older than this country, and it lands on a cautious, "Ma'am, we need to talk." And then the real storm rolls in. Dark suits, granite jaws, and FBI badges, claiming they've had a credible tip about terror financing from this very building. The lead agent locks eyes with her, his tone leaving no space for negotiation. They want her now. The pink suit in the corner smiles like she's just been handed the crown. My wife breathes once, slow, deliberate, and tells her COO to initiate crisis protocol before letting the agents take her. She walks out under glass doors she paid for herself, a queen led away in invisible chains, while the symphony she's conducted for years falls silent behind her. They take her to a building so bland it could be selling paperclips. FBI field office beige, windows tinted against curiosity. Inside, the air smells faintly of bleach and bureaucracy. Marcus, our lawyer, a mountain of a man with the mind of a chess grandmaster, meets me in the lobby. He's already growling about the Patriot Act being used as a cudgel to keep him from seeing her. The accusation, he explains, isn't random. It's specific, surgical. They're claiming she's funneling money from Sterling Financial to a separatist group in West Africa on the terror watch list. Her philanthropy in the region? They've twisted it into a weapon. 2 hours later, she's brought into a small, windowless room. She's tired but intact, and she tells us the evidence is a forgery, a good one, but built on outdated routing codes Sterling hasn't used in years. It's the kind of mistake you only catch if you're the person who designed the system. Historians still argue whether that was arrogance or just sloppy outsourcing by the enemy. Either way, it's our first crack of daylight. We dig. The woman in pink turns out to be Beatrice Stallworth, widow of a failed bank CEO whose institution my wife once acquired. His failure became her first big victory. This is revenge, but Beatrice doesn't have the skill to fake intelligence briefs. The trail leads to Alastair Finch, an old board buddy of Beatrice's husband, now a heavyweight DC lobbyist with defense contractor ties. He's the kind of man who collects favors and files them under insurance. Then the gut punch. David, our brilliant but jittery CTO, finds the leak came from inside. Alani, my wife's fiercely loyal COO. Not stolen credentials. She downloaded the outdated data herself. At first, it feels like discovering your own shadow has been spying on you. We start surveillance, expecting to find money or politics as motive. What we uncover is uglier and more human. Alani's mother is dying, and Finch's network paid for an experimental Swiss treatment in exchange for the betrayal. It's a devil's bargain. Save your mother, sabotage your friend. My wife doesn't confront her head-on. Instead, she sends an old photo, both of them laughing at a company retreat, arms slung over each other's shoulders on a mountaintop. No text, just memory. It rattles Alani. That night, she walks into a quiet church, and my wife joins her in the pew. Alani spills it all. How Finch offered the loan, how he lied about its use, how she didn't realize until it was too late. My wife listens, tears silent on her cheeks, and tells her, it's not too late to choose a side. So Alani agrees to become a double agent, to wear a wire, to bait Finch into confessing. We prep her with a brooch-turned transmitter, send her to a private club meeting, and hold our breath in a van nearby. Finch is smooth, evasive, until Alani bluffs she'll confess. Then he snaps, admits to the blackmail, even frames it as her payment for taking down my wife. We've got it, until a chair scrapes, and the rogue FBI agent steps out of the shadows. He's been sitting there all along, guarding Finch. The feed goes dead, and they take Alani. It feels like checkmate. Then David's laptop pings. His honeypot file, Project Nightingale, has been accessed from a federal IP. The rogue agent is in our trap. We mirror his hard drive, finding every incriminating email, payment record, and one personal log where he quotes Finch's mission. Dismantle the affirmative action empire of the Sterling woman and restore the natural order. Now, we're holding the nuclear option. Marcus warns we can't just hand this to the Bureau. They'll bury it, protect their own. Instead, we take aim at Finch's fortress, Omnicorp, the defense tech giant where he sits on the board. My wife requests an emergency meeting, hinting at a threat to shareholder value. It's granted. We walk into a boardroom lined with brass and billionaires. Finch's smug look says he still thinks we're the underdogs. She stands at the head of the table, locks eyes with him, and says he's used his resources to launch a malicious, racist, and illegal attack on her company, her character, and her family. Finch scoffs, calls it absurd, but Marcus cues the big screen. One by one, the emails appear, the payment records, and then the smoking gun. The rogue agent's own words about restoring the natural order. You can almost hear the oxygen leave the room. Historians still argue whether Finch went pale or straight to blotchy red first. Finch tries the illegal hack defense. Marcus counters, maybe in court, but this is the court of shareholder value. My wife delivers the kill shot. They can keep Finch and let the poison spread, or cut him loose and stand for the ethics they preach. The board sees a liability. Finch sees the walls closing in. He resigns under threat of public exposure. The next morning, we walk into the Inspector General's office with Omnicorp lawyers. The case is airtight. By sunset, the rogue agent is in cuffs, the FBI investigation into my wife is terminated, and Finch is under a new federal probe. Alani is freed into witness protection, her mother's care quietly covered by anonymous channels my wife arranges. A day later, news cameras catch Finch in handcuffs, then Beatrice being led from her mansion, her face set in bewildered disbelief. She lit the match and got burned first. Sterling Financial rebounds. Media flips the script, magazine covers, interviews, a hero CEO narrative. New clients arrive. But the scars remain. David's quiet guilt, Alani's absence, my wife's eyes sharper now, tempered steel where there once was unguarded warmth. She launches a justice fund for minority-owned businesses under attack, turning the ugliest battle of her life into a shield for others. We know the storm could come again. The forces that created Finch and weaponized Beatrice's bitterness aren't gone. They're just quieter now. But our calm is different too. It's the calm of sailors who've survived a hurricane and still choose to sail. We've learned our power isn't in glass towers or account balances. It's in the story, the resilience, and the people who chose to stand with us. She's still a conductor, But now the music is more than commerce. It's an unfinished symphony of justice, hope, and defiance. My job? Make sure the music never stops, that this story is told, not as a headline, but as the anatomy of a war fought in suits and whispers. So when you see that photo of her standing arms folded against a storm, know the truth. It's the face of a queen who stood unbowed, and the fight continues. And now, as the lights in that boardroom fade from memory and the rhythm of daily life returns, there's a quieter space to breathe. The city outside hums the same, but we move through it differently, aware of the undercurrents that swirl beneath even the calmest surface. The clink of a coffee cup in our kitchen, the shuffle of mail through the slot. Small sounds we once took for granted now carry a weight, a reminder that peace is something you notice most after it's been threatened. Some evenings, she stands on the balcony again, the skyline laid out in amber and violet, the kind of scene artists chase for a lifetime. I watch her breathe it in, shoulders easing, and I know she's not just seeing the city. She's measuring it, feeling its pulse, testing its balance. I stand beside her, and the quiet between us feels earned. We talk less about the storm now, more about the sails we've mended and the courses still ahead. The Justice Fund grows quietly, each grand a pebble in the still water, ripples carrying farther than we can see. It's not dramatic, not the kind of work that makes headlines, but it's steady, like the tide. So we end this chapter here, not with the slam of the gavel or the snap of a camera shutter, but with the slow exhale of two people who have stood at the edge and stepped back together. And if you're listening in some far-off place, at some odd hour of your own, take this with you. The storm will pass, but the mountain remains. And sometimes, the calm after isn't just survival. It's the start of building something stronger than the wind that tried to tear it down.